hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Is that all y'all got? Oh my gosh, y'all like, okay, one more time? Hello? Okay. All right, this is going to be a keynote that you all want to listen to. Julia is the president at Consonant Scale, the leading initiative around one of the fastest growing AI tools in SEO. She's a college dropout that followed her passion of writing, building a content empire, which she showed in 2021. She is the author of 8 books. She writes one every year. She's known also as the content hacker and has been named as the top 10 content marketers to follow. So please, welcome Julia.
Okay, I'll do it. Thank you, ma'am. It's great to be here with you all today. So if you're fearful of AI or you're just not sure how artificial intelligence works, this is the room to be in. What I want to share with you comes from working in AI the past 6 months. Makes me a bona fide expert in AI. Really, it feels like 6 decades because of how fast AI is moving. It's moving at the speed of light. So what I want to share with you will hopefully bring some inspiration, motivation, and clarity around what to actually do with AI. How do you use it, especially in content creation? So let's dive right in. I'm going to remember to point my clicker that way, I was just told. So AI really is the future of content. So let's talk about how you can use it to actually win and get more efficient and great at content. So I want to start here. This is a great quote by Gandhi. The future really depends on what we do in the present. So the things that we do right now dictate our future, and how we embrace this technology can really bring efficiency, ROI, and results. So how we think about this is really important, right? We can give into fear or we can see the opportunity of AI. It's huge. So this is permission granted, if you need it, to go explore the unexplored, because that is what AI is. It is a new frontier that we each get to explore in different ways. So if you've asked this question, then you're like me. This is not a stupid question. What is AI? What actually is it? So it comes from these things: computer science, machine learning, and human language. Human language is the study of linguistics. Our own words, what we say. That has actually trained the AI model. So in some sense, it came from us, our words, what we say. And AI in general is a machine's ability to perform cognitive functions that we generally associate with humans. That sounds scary, but in the end, it's a machine that's been trained in ways that we've been developing technology for years. The difference and why this matters today, really why I'm here, is the rate of acceleration. So in the last 24 months, AI went from 100 million some data points to over 180 billion data points. That rate of acceleration we haven't seen in any similar technology to date. So it has accelerated unlike anything else really in the world. But AI has existed. Examples are Siri, Alexa, Google Translate, fraud detection built into apps and software. That's AI. So my story is kind of crazy. I think it's why Rick invited me here. I ran a human writing agency for over a decade. We had over 100 writers when I sold it in 2021. At the time, I definitely did not confess publicly that I thought GPT was coming for my job. But did I believe it? Yes, I did. I saw the writing on the wall, and I wanted to be a part of this new frontier. So I sold it to be able to explore what's here in AI. So a little bit about me. I'm definitely a risk taker by nature. I dropped out of college at 19 years old to pursue my passion for writing. Just Google searched how to make money writing, and my whole career grew from there. I have been blessed, been able to grow a writing business from 0 to almost 6 million in sales. 100 people on staff. We did over 40,000 concept projects. We were one of the first to launch an e-commerce writing agency, and I write books. Although there's someone here, Danielle, a traveling cheesehead, who's actually more of a content queen than me. That's my LinkedIn headline, content queen. I have to give it to Danielle. She's even more. I've heard her titled by Rick as a content monster. Writes 3 books a year, has 2 brands, 2 TV shows, 30 websites. Amazing. So Got to give her a shout out. But I'm known for Content Hacker. This January I stepped into Consonant Scale, which I'll talk more about in a second. So even though I knew that AI was going to change everything, I really didn't believe it would actually replace the human writer. I didn't see that coming. In fact, this is what I said on stage last year, the end of the year. I literally said this, you can quote me. There's a video out there, and it says, hire a writer because AI is garbage. That's what I believed. So then a month later, I'm on stage. Goodbye, human writers, you're done with. No, I didn't say that, but I could have, because I'm now working in AI. So Rick asked me a really good question yesterday on the podcast, the TBEX podcast. Why did you do this? Why did you do this change? It wasn't because of a trend or some hype. I don't do that. I don't jump on trends. I jump on things that work. So I literally found the AI technology that I believed would replace me. That's what happened. It was a little scary when I found it, not gonna lie, but I realized if this can write as good as me, why would a business owner, the people that hire me, why would they settle for me if I'm 10 times more expensive? And I saw the writing on the wall again. So I found an AI technology that I could trust, and really it was Consonant Scale. So this is why I pivoted, because on one hand, last fall, when I found ChatGPT, I couldn't trust it. It wasn't writing factually accurate content. It didn't help me create trustworthy content. It was very superficial. It actually took me more time to edit that content and make it better. But when I found this proprietary technology stack called Consonant Scale, that's when I saw, okay, the technology's here, somebody's built it. This is a writer that's as good as me, if not better. It's kind of crazy to even admit that. Can't believe I am. So the fastest pivot I've ever made in my career to date, 11 years, happened when I went from pretty much being anti-ChatGPT, being known for it, to adapting, and now I'm in a leadership role at Consonant Scale. I wrote them a marketing plan in a weekend, and that Monday, the founder offered me a role, and then I went to the president of the company in 3 months. So the way I introduced this technology, I actually gave it to my writer. I have a team at Content Hacker. We write content, been writing content for 10 years, and my writer said, Julia, this is gonna save me 7 hours per blog. So it's an incredible tool. AI is definitely changing my life. We're able to use it in my blog, in my content, to save tremendous time and money. So AI is now up to 25 times faster and better than any human writer on the planet. There's a study done by Capterra in 2022, if you're not aware, that talks about how most marketers not only agree that AI is the key to the future, but they actually believe that AI is as good as the human, if not better. That's crazy. I still can't believe we're here. And the rate of adaption, the godfather of this industry, Geoffrey Hinton, didn't believe this would happen for another 50 to 100 years. So we're here, we're actually living in history that they thought wouldn't happen for another 100 years. That's pretty wild. So this is what my writing agency did, 10 million words per year. I thought that was a lot of content. This is what we're doing at Consonant Scale, 50 million words per month. That's unbelievable. That's 5 years of content in 1 month. And these are large-scale content marketing campaigns. So these are huge brands doing a ton of content, but they're also niche site publishers that are getting to the top much quicker because they're tapping into the power of a really good AI writer. So this is what it used to take to develop a large-scale content marketing campaign. It used to take so much work to hire and find and train the writers. That's what I did. That was my job. And it would be probably multiple full-time jobs to go and find, hire, train these writers, and then hope they stick around for 100 pieces of content a month, 50 pieces of content. That was tons of work, but now we can do it with one human. We're actually doing it at Consonant Scale for our own brand. That's how we're building Consonant Scale. I came in, started doing this in the blog. It's how we're growing, and it's how a lot of our users are growing their sites as well. Got a couple stories coming up. So this is where I really wanted to spend some time, because I've had the chance to meet some of you, and you remind me of me. You're very conscientious people that care about the quality of the content that you're putting out. You care about the right things. I did too. I still do. Not past tense. But these are some of the elephants in the room, I call them, that people aren't really addressing, but we should be. We should be talking about these things. So this is the first one. I think a lot of us talk about this already. But does Google actually penalize non-human content? Are you going to get in trouble if you publish AI content? Will Google derank you? So we'll talk about that. Who owns the copyright of this stuff? If AI is writing it, do you retain that copyright? That's a big question. And there's actual answers on this. And then how do you rank in Google's AI? It's a really big question. Will your site even get clicks? When AI is now the thing that Google has built into their search model, because it's coming. So the first elephant, does Google penalize non-human content? Does Google care? Are they going to derank you if you use AI to write content? So last year was a total train wreck for Google. In April, they said, no, don't publish AI content. It's actually completely against our guidelines. They were quoted saying this on Search Engine Journal, a huge publishing platform that I actually write for. So then, in the fall, they were called out because it was found on Twitter, tweet thread here, that went pretty viral, that there was a website publishing a ton of content, completely AI, and it was ranking at the top of Google. So then Danny Sullivan, the liaison at Google, comes and says publicly on Twitter, we haven't said AI content is bad. Yes, you did. We've said pretty clearly that content written primarily for search instead of humans, that's the issue. So what they did that fall was they began to rewrite the Webmaster Guidelines. They renamed it, they reshaped it. And instead of just hating on AI content, which is what they originally did, they started hating on spammy original AI content. So if you're creating content to spam people and you're using AI to do that, that's a no-no. And that's what Google put in their guidelines. So they moved over to spam. And now today, this comes straight from their blog this February, and they say that high-quality content is rewarded however it's produced. So you can be creating content with AI, they don't care, as long as it demonstrates the qualities of what they're looking for. And we'll talk about that. There's an acronym I love called EAT. Some of you probably already know it. And it's how Google defines quality content. But this is the next big question, because AI is coming to search. AI will be inside of Google. It's going to live there. So here's the model that we're building at Consonant Scale. This comes from thousands, if not tens of thousands of use cases. And we're calling it AIO. And what it stands for is Artificial Intelligence Optimization. And this is what we believe the writer is going to shift into. They're going to become an optimizer. So the human's going to take that AI content and optimize it for the human, because that will never change. Humans want to hear from humans. So this term is already getting picked up. Chantel here on LinkedIn is putting it in her headline. Writers are adapting to this because it's an incredibly smart way to position yourself if you write, and that's part of your income source. You can start to say, I do AIO. I use this approach. And you can we're seeing people get more efficient by 25x. Have an actual case study on that. It's unbelievable. So shifting away from human only, which is now almost like the analog, kind of crazy to think about that, and shifting into how do we become the optimizers of the machine? How do we drive it in a way that's efficient, in a way that creates good content? Because that still matters. Creating good content, that's not ever going to go away. That matters. So here's an example of AIO. A few of you I have already shared this with. Hip grandma's here. She knows about this. But this comes from my brand called Content Hacker, and this is really my playground for a lot of the concepts that I'm teaching now. Do they actually work? Well, I test them out here first. So I am my own guinea pig. You're welcome. And my whole blog is a case study of AIO. So what I've done in the last 6 months is I've taken our AI at Consonant Scale, and I've used it to write the majority of the baseline content. So it's writing up to 80% of my post. And then I'm optimizing. I'm taking the rest of that content, making it better, making it more personalized. So AI comes out pretty bland. You can see it there on the left. It's good, but it doesn't really have that human touch yet. So I take it and I add in that human touch. I'll fact check everything. I'll add links. I'll add emojis. I was talking to Kyle about the the term I have in my book, which you all should have, the Content Writer's Handbook, it's in the welcome bag, about millennializing your content, what that means, and that's just adding some emojis to land a point home. So there you go, millennialize your AI content. But this is working, it's incredible. And I would say it's working better than I've ever seen any content technique I've applied in 10 years' work. First of all, it's saving me incredible time, 7 hours per blog. I'm not spending that time anymore. Thank the Lord, I'm a writer, but that's hard work. If I can save that time, that's great. And I'm still building so much trust that here's what somebody said before they bought my program 4 days later without a sales call. So I'm gonna quote Mandy. She said, I'm looking for direction. I could probably find the information I need online, but with any program, a blueprint is so valuable. Again, she found me. This is why she's buying. She's telling me. So looking for some kind of path to help cut down on my lack of clarity and overwhelm. This is a mentorship, by the way, that she invested in. So if you're not doing courses, mentorships, great way to build income from your personal blog. But here's where she landed, and I had to smile because the blog that she found was written by AI. She Google searched. Her term was, is ChatGPT content legal to use? I ranked for that term with an AI written blog. So then Mandy says, well, I can relate to Julia's personal story, that last sentence there, and love that she seems like a relatable and kind person instead of some Lambo jock. So she's quoting what the AI wrote, and she's saying, Julia seems like a relatable and kind person. That's a win. We're using AI, but we haven't lost our tone. We haven't lost our personal sense of style, because that's what draws people in. So this won't change. People buy for people they trust. It's a fact. And I'll tell you, Google's even quoting it when they're talking about their new AI coming to search. So this is the framework that I've developed. Going back to that AIO approach, how do you actually optimize your content? You use the framework CRAFT. And I break this down in the book that you all have in the welcome bag. But this is just a very simple way to remember how to take that AI content and make it really great. How do you do that? You cut the fluff. AI is known for jargon, unnecessary words. Pare that down. Then you review, edit, optimize. And if you know SEO, you're doing this for your website. This relates to SEO. You want to optimize, add those keywords in, make those keywords sound more natural. And then add images, visuals, media, pictures, say what words cannot. So you want to really bring that content to life. Don't leave it text only. Add images. Fact check. Check those facts. AI could be wildly off. I was talking to somebody yesterday where AI wrote a story about a rubber ducky appearing in the middle of a known place. No, that rubber ducky doesn't exist in this place. So fact check your content. Make sure that AI is telling the true story. And then trust build, how do you do that? That's your story. That's what people can relate to about you that's different. So embrace your new craft is what I'm saying for writers, because this is the framework to help you understand how do we take this AI content and make it personalized to where people like Mandy, right, are buying from us, quoting our AI written content and saying, this is why I bought, this is why I trust you. But AI wrote it, she didn't know. So the second elephant in the room, who owns the copyright? This is a big question, and I will say this stopped me for probably half of the last year from even adapting, because my words bring income, probably like a lot of you here. And if I don't own those words, that's a problem. I don't want to rely on something I don't have ownership of. So there's actually a ruling from the US Copyright Office. This happened early this year, and it says, you can read it, I've got it highlighted, if a work was created by an AI system, then the copyright is owned by the person who owns the AI system. Very convoluted. But if a work was created by an AI, then the copyright is owned by the person who owns the AI or has the exclusive rights to it. So there's more questions, right? ChatGPT, owned by OpenAI in partnership with Microsoft. Are they going to pass the copyright down to you? Well, if you ask ChatGPT, they'll tell you, leave this to the courts. Not very helpful. I just asked it a few days ago to see if it was any different on GPT-4, and it's no different. Keep in mind, these are general observations, and the specifics could vary depending on your local laws and regulations. So it's not clear. And then this just occurred. I was sending an updated version of my Keynote to Rick because things change so rapidly. This just came out by OpenAI in their terms of service a couple of weeks ago. And at first I thought it was good news. So highlighted in green in that first paragraph, OpenAI assigns to you all of its right, title, and interest to the output. This means you can use content for any purpose, including commercial and sale and publication, if you comply with our terms. That sounds good. It sounds like we get to have the ownership of this. But if you scroll down to the very next point, highlighted in red here, similarity of content. Other users may also ask similar questions and receive the same response. Responses that are requested by and generated for other users, that's not your content. So, not helpful, OpenAI, ChatGPT. But here's the truth. Here's something that I landed on last year. And honestly, this is why I'm in Consonant Scale, working in this company, adapting to it. It's one of the companies out there where they've built a proprietary stack. And this is why I think entrepreneurs are so cool. They can build things and pass down more ownership to the people that aren't getting the ownership from these bigger companies, because they don't care as much about it. But entrepreneurs care, right? So look at who built the tools that you're using. See if you get to own the copyright. And one of the policies, one of the terms built into our tool at Consonant Scale by our founder is passing down the copyright to every user. So that was one reason why I adapted, was I found a tool, again, not only did it write good content, that's point one, you gotta write good content, but number two, I get to retain the copyright. So make sure the tools you're using have this in their terms and that you can publish content and you won't get in trouble. So this is where we're gonna land today, because this is a huge question. How will Google's AI coming to search affect your website and your rankings? This honestly troubled me, kept me up at night. Is Google gonna become a ChatGPT-like interface? And are we gonna lose all of our traffic? Yikes. So Google brings in 80% of the world's online traffic. This surprises a lot of people, probably not you, you're a smart crowd. But in some of the talks I give, people think it's TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. No, it's still Google. Google brings in the majority, every part of traffic, or the majority of traffic, it starts with a search. 8 billion searches a day are happening in Google. So on May 10th, Google launched SGE, their AI in search. They're really racing to launch this. To be fair, Google's only had months to develop their AI in search. If we think about how long they've had to develop the actual SERP model, that's years. So they've really not had a lot of time to get this great. So every site I've built depends on Google for traffic. It is just such a great source of traffic. If you build an evergreen website and your traffic comes from Google, you have an incredible stream of income over time. It's amazing. So Consonant Scale is now hitting over 500,000 per month. This just started. We were at around 100,000 per month in January. We're doing this by adding content through Consonant Scale. So it's AI written content, taking our AI brand to the next level. So this was a big question, right, for us too. How do we prepare for this? So first of all, two main things, and I've studied this like too much. It's ridiculous how much I've studied this. A little absurd. But during Google's I/O keynote, the experience that was sold to us, it really isn't matching up to the actual results. This is the first finding. And to be fair, Google's not had a lot of time to refine this. But they do have a ton of resources, so they should be able to get this right. Hopefully they will. But the experience doesn't really match up because there are a lot of duplicate results happening when you scroll down. And I have some screenshots coming up, I'll show you. But here's the good part about AI coming to search. Shocker, there's a good part. Yes, there is. So this is going to be a game changer. This was something that I uncovered just doing hundreds of searches, plugging the keyword into SGE, and then studying what other people at the top of SEO are saying as well. So this, I can't say this has really ever happened before in Google. It's gonna be a big disruption when SGE finally comes out, and let's hope it works. There's that. But when it does come out, and it will eventually, there's going to be a huge disruption in who ranks. I've seen this time and time again, it's unbelievable. So big websites like Forbes used to hold all the power. They would get the majority of rankings just because they had all the DA. They kind of hog that. big sites like them. So it's hard to outperform a website that had so much DA. But in this new AI model that Google's building, in SGE, creators that have niche sites are getting favored over these big publishers because it's more specific to that query. So they're getting pushed down for big sites, are getting pushed down in favor of the niche publisher. It's pretty amazing. So here's an example. For a keyword, which Hawaiian island should I visit in 2023? And you can see up here on the right, that's a carousel. Actually, you can scroll through it. It's 9 results. And you can expand it with that top right button. So you can see that these, and all 9 results, I can promise you, are the same, even though I can't click through them, but I've tested it. These 3 results, look at who the authors are. These are blogs and creators. This is not Forbes.com. These are small niche sites. So this is happening time and time again. I've done so many keyword searches in SGE, and I've seen this. So in their I/O keynote, which is where Google revealed this huge change, like we're really living in a new frontier. Google's changing their entire model, bringing in AI. This is crazy. But something that Google confirmed whenever they revealed this live on stage was that they know that people want to hear from people. This really stuck out to me. I think it was a critical point in their reveal of what's coming. They said people will always value the input of other people. And whenever they revealed how SGE is going to work, their goal was to create a jumping off point, a snapshot, where you can dive into the content of other people. So this is the opportunity in the room when AI finally launches in Google, and we know that these big sites are getting pushed down in favor of niche publishers. That means we actually have more room than we've probably ever had before to show up in this new revamped search. So the problems here, I'm typing in where to go in Eau Claire. Here's a couple of the problems that they need to fix before they can really launch this. You can see 2 results that are the exact same from the tourist checklist. I've got arrows around them. So that's not good. Google really needs to clean up the duplicate results. It's not user-friendly. So I think they have more work to do before it launches, or they're going to lose some traction because people are going to get, this is frustrating. I don't want to see the same result twice. So this is the consensus. It's not ready for the public, and it's going to take some more time before it rolls out. It will, but it'll take some more time. They have to build it more. So I've talked to a lot of people in SEO that are really doomsday thinkers about this, and they really think that Google is going to give everything up to that ChatGPT-like interface. I don't think so, and here's why. Again, like I come from facts, right? Not hype, not trends. What's the facts here? So the facts are that Google's ad revenue comes from the publishers, comes from people like us, building websites. We have literally built Google. We are the content creators that gave Google what they have. So last year, their ad revenue was $200 billion, and 58% of this came from search. What drives that up? It's publishers creating competing content, and that's why people have to bid on content. So the huge opportunity that I see after studying SGE and asking myself, do I still have a chance here? Is my content going to rank and get clicks? Uh-oh. So the huge opportunity that I see is this. And I'm going to share a story. So this comes from John and Victoria Derrick, who I tried to get here. They're very sad they couldn't be here. But they own a great website, the Hawaiian Guide, and hawaiiguide.com. They have it with the dash and without the dash. But they rank in 2 places right now, in SGE and the first organic blue link for that keyword I showed you earlier, which Hawaiian island to visit in 2023. So they're ranking in the new AI, and they have the first blue link. How are they doing this? They're using AI, surprise, surprise. They're using our AI, they're creating content with it, they're doubling their weekly output, and they've had a 30% growth in traffic. They're on track to get even more in the months to come. But they're generating entire pieces with AI, and then they're adding in their personal touch. We interviewed them in our community, and that's an important piece to them, is adding in that personal touch and especially voice, like who John is. They want their readers to continue to recognize John and not interact with a robot. So that's important. You need to be that final touch on the AI machine. Another story is Troy at copywriting.org. This is an incredible story because he actually, excuse me, he never hired a single human writer. Pretty crazy. Instead, what he did is he gave the AI to his SEO person, and that SEO person did all the work. And what they did was 70 articles per month. One human applying that craft framework, optimizing the content. So he's like, I'm not going to do this. Here, hands it to his SEO person, and that person does all the work, gets all the content out. So you can do this, and we're seeing people do really smart things, hire people that aren't writers, that are more SEO. You can kind of do both. I hire writers. I find that they nail my personal voice because they're writers, they're talented at that. So I'd rather have them applying the craft framework to my content. But eventually, to scale, you can hand all of this off. And because of AI, content creation just got easy. You don't have to hire over 100 writers to have this kind of growth. So then we have a user who's actually selling this as a service, getting incredible results, booking out resorts for over a year, applying SEO with AI written content. So this question is really important because what's happening with AI is great. We have over 100 million users that adapted to ChatGPT in its first week. But the problem, because marketers kind of ruin things, is that now we have all this AI written content and it's about to hit SERPs. And it's going to be like a tsunami. It's going to be crazy. So how is Google actually going to filter through all of this content that marketers are ruining the web with? And how are they going to find the gold to rank at the top, like John and Victoria's website, ranking in the AI as well as that first blue link? Here's how. So Google launched EAT. It's a known acronym. I'll explain it in a second. But in December, they did something else. They launched an extra E in EAT. So now it's, I don't know how you say it, EAT? Extra E. But what it stands for is this. The extra E stands for experience. That's going to be important. Talk more about that in a second. It also stands for expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. So these are the considerations in how Google ranks page quality, how they look at quality in your content, and determine, okay, this is going to make it to the top, this is not. It depends 100% on EAT. And a lot of you already know this. I know Hip Grandma, another shout out to her. She knows so much about this, which is amazing. So experience, the extra E, Google defines this. I think this is really interesting. So Google says that pages that are trustworthy are created by people with a wealth of personal experience. So who would you trust? Google has this in their guidelines, a review from somebody who has used the product or a review from somebody who has not. They could have said a review from a robot who never used it and just BSing about it. So this is almost a way that I think Google future-proofed what was going to happen, which is a ton of AI-written content that nobody's edited, nobody's made better, and it's just sad, unfortunate sea of very mediocre at best content. Because that's coming. Marketers ruin things. So low-quality pages that don't have EAT are not going to rank. They're going to sink to the bottom. They're never going to make it. So Google actually has a lot of examples of what experience is, which is pretty cool. Things that matter to them are reviews. So reviews written by people that have been there, tasted the food, tried the thing. That's amazing. That's your differentiation against all this content that we can now mass produce. We still need a human to edit it, make it better. We can lean into that and then outrank the websites like Forbes because that's now an opportunity we never had coming to SGE, coming to Google. So another example that they have is skydiving. And I'm picturing like a robot trying to skydive. So this has to be people talking about these things. And that's what Google put in their guidelines. I really believe that that E for experience was pointing to the fact that we want humanly written content in the end. Yes, you can use AI, but you really have to make it sound human. And another important piece of this, if you're not the authoritative or trustworthy source, don't write about it. Choose another topic. You need to be the go-to expert on that topic. If you can claim that, that's your niche. That's where you can stand, build authority from, and then earn all those top rankings. Like John and Victoria Derrick, who don't need to be here and make more money. They're doing very well. So high EAT doesn't just relate to your website. It's also about social media content. Are you talking on social media about the same topics that you're talking about on your website? That actually matters to Google. They're looking at that now. Forum posts, places where you talk. You don't have to overthink this, right? It's really just about getting on the other platforms and being regular about the same topics you are on your website. So for me, like that's LinkedIn, that's Facebook, Twitter, not Threads. I tried Threads for a minute. It might not be here tomorrow. So choose platforms that, 2 to 3, that you can be regular on. So the highest EAT, the pages that are going to rise to the top and stay to the top, they're the uniquely authoritative go-to sources. People want to hear from people, right? So who are their go-to sources? And this doesn't have to be the people with all the degrees. I don't have a degree, dropped out of college here. It can be people that have just built a lot of personal experience, a wealth of experience. That's how Google literally defines this. They don't say degrees. They don't say accolades. It's a wealth of experience. So what's your experience that you've built? How can you put that into your content? And use AI to get way faster. So this is not going to go away. I don't believe that Google's going to change into a ChatGPT-like interface. I think that what we're going to see is that the creators that are really demonstrating the experience in their content that Google's looking for, they're going to rise to the top. And that's not going to change. That's not going to just be swept away. We have SGE now. We have different ways this is going to show, but it's still going to show. Your website is still going to get clicks. So demonstrating this personal experience is really how you can stand out. I believe it's a ticket to standing out now and in the future with AI coming to search. So really when you boil this down, like what is the actual thing I need to do? Surprise, surprise, not very different than the things we've been doing for so many years. Consonant links. We need to create content and we need to make sure that we're cited on other sources as an expert. We get links back to us. So number one, definitely use AI. Google doesn't care. They really don't. They've said high quality content is great. Make sure it's good. We don't care how it's produced. So if we know that, it's really time to embrace AI. Use that to get faster, better, quicker at content, take that off our plate, and rise to the top faster. So I mentioned earlier, we actually have a case study of somebody that 25x'd their time and their costs on content. So they were paying a lot. They were paying a content writing agency. They weren't even getting work on time. They had to go pester the writer, go find the people. This agency wasn't really living up to it. And I've ran a writing agency, so I'm talking about this like, I know the struggle. Hiring writers is hard. It's like corralling cats. That's what my content manager used to say. And I'm a writer, so I'm making fun of myself now. But what they now pay is 25x less. And this is why I had to adapt, because we're in a time where once all business owners know this exists, why wouldn't they move in this direction? It's time. So then the second thing we need to do is double down on scaling our content. We need to put out more quality content that really demonstrates our experience. So we're going to optimize AI written content and then spend time finding the right keywords. Right, so I like SEMrush. It's a more expensive tool, but what I do is I'll plug in a root keyword, generalized topic that my people care about, and then I'll go to the keyword magic tool and I'll sort by questions. You can see here, right, over 2,500 questions that we can sort through. So in the past, think about creating content for that. That's a bear. So now we can use AI to generate all these pieces infinitely faster, and that's actually what Consonant Scale was built for. You can load it up with topics, go make a cup of coffee, come back, and all this amazing content is written just like that. It's unbelievable. So we can scale content and get to the top. Remember, what did Google say? Be the go-to source. We have to do that with a lot of content. There's really no other way around it. And then getting links, getting cited. This is fundamental, it's hard, it's not fun, but it's how you get to the top. So loading content with value, that's long form content, not short form, video content, really showing people who you are, putting that on camera, getting consistent at that, and then interactive elements. And you don't have to overcomplicate this either. It can be an embed, right? For me, it's lead magnets, it's quizzes, simple things to get people to interact, take action. So I'll end with this example. We have one page ranking for almost 800 keywords, and it's bringing in incredible traffic and incredible ROI. So here's how we built this page. You can see it, consonanscale.ai. It's in the menu called Content Detector. It's a free tool that we built, so I gotta give credit to that, but it's also content. And the content on this page is pretty simple. It's a 10-minute YouTube video. I'm demonstrating experience. I know about this topic, all right? Been in AI for 6 months. I'm an expert now. And then there's how-to content. I'm telling people how this works. There's FAQs that address all of their questions on the topic. And all in all, it's around 1,200 words. So it's long form. We're addressing all the questions people would have on this topic. So this really displays EAT. We've nailed it, right? We have an expert talking about the topic, 6 months in AI, really knows what she's doing. We have content that informs the reader, very good how-to content, and we have FAQs that are structured. So Consonant Scale writes FAQs. They're all structured. Schema markups already done. It's unbelievable. Now I just sound like a fangirl. But how do you do this? Demonstrate, right? It's time to really step up, choose our topics, plant that flag on a mountain. What are we going to be known for? What's going to be our unique place where we are the go-to source for that topic? What do people ask us? What do they want to know? What do we know that we can share with them? And then going omni-channel, staying true to the topics you want to be known for, not just on your website, but everywhere else that you are too. Creating content that informs the reader, addressing other questions that they have. You're actually help building a better AI model when Google launches SGE. You're creating informative content that helps people find answers. And then use AI to cut time and cost. So the right tool is really important because I've used ChatGPT to try to write the type of content I get paid for, and it breaks. It's awful, like it adds hours of time. And I still use ChatGPT for ideation, headlines. It's a great tool. It's just not a good tool for long form. There's a ton of tools out there that you could use, right? Tons of tools. Whatever tool you use, match it up to your goal. What is your goal with this? That's gonna drive you towards the right AI tool. So for Consonant Scale, it's a specialized tool. It's long form SEO content. If that's the goal, you're gonna get better results. And that's what we've really built. So from start to finish, you can get a almost 3,000 word blog in 5 minutes. It's unreal. This used to take a week of work. You can edit and publish within the hour. You can do it from multiple sources. So you can choose a keyword, an existing blog post. You can take your YouTube content, make that blog content. And again, like this isn't just so-so content. It's actually well-written, structured content that's gonna rank in the top of Google. So you can actually scan this QR code and you'll see an article that Rick gave me the idea for, a keyword, fun things to do in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and Rick's telling me, this one's wrong, this one's right. So you can judge it for yourself too, but it's straight out of AI, no human editing. This was generated in about 5 minutes. So what we would want to do is take this piece of content and AIO it, right? Optimize it, apply the craft framework to really make it better. Because on its own, AI is good, but with us, AI is great. That's the difference. So optimized humanly, you're gonna get human results. People liking, trusting, buying from you. Don't forget that part. Okay, so consonanscale.ai travel, we have an offer there just for you guys. You can check it out. 2 articles starting at $40. It's a subscription based. So we want you to be able to get content regularly, right? That's the name of the game, with content. Do it consistently, get results. So we've built Consonant Scale to help you do that. So check out that URL, consonanscale.ai/travel. That QR code will get you to the article example, fun things to do in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. You can judge it, please be harsh. AI is not always great. We are needed, thank the Lord, we're still needed, to make content better. So that's a good thing. You know, when I see AI content that's not good yet, I'm like, yes, my job is still safe, still needed. So Josh, our COO, we have a running joke. He's Yoda here. I did this in Midjourney. Sorry, Josh. Still love you. And I believe that's a wrap.
Thank you, Julia. So, as Julia said, she wanted to demonstrate, how does this work? And I said, do this, 15 fun things to do in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. She, put that in their platform. It spit out 3,000 word post, I think.
Yes, almost.
And so I read it because I've been here, and it's pretty good.
Wow.
It's pretty good. It was missing, it mentioned the Lazy Monk, which is around the corner, a great brewery here, but it didn't mention Brewery Project, a brewing project. It didn't mention a couple other breweries. It didn't mention Firehouse.
Not perfect.
It mentioned the Jazz Festival, which was here when we came in, but it didn't mention Rock Fest and Country Jam, which was here. So we still need humans, right?
Thank the Lord.
Yeah. But again, that was hours. I mean, 3,000 words, how long would it take any of you to write 3,000 word post? Research it, write it, edit it.
Too long?
7 hours, 10 hours? Yeah, and now that's down to 1 hour, 2 hours?
Yeah,
and
1 to 2 hours.
Pretty solid. So I just want you all to think about what's going to happen to you if you don't use, I'm not saying you have to use this tool, we don't sell stuff, but if you're not using a tool and your competitors are, what's going to happen to you? You're going to get run over by a freight train is what's going to happen to you. And if you've ever seen a freight train run over a car or run over a human, it's not pretty. And that's what's going to happen. So we are out of time, but I want to say thank you very much, Julia, for this.
This is vlog number 8,500,000.
Maybe.
The last vlog of our monumental event here at TBEX. And it was really cool. I'd say the highlight for me, and I'm going to ask you what the highlight was for you and Adrian. But for me, it was after the keynote, getting to walk around, getting, first of all, poked by everybody, by the elbow. Julia, what do you think of this? What do you think about AI doing this? But what I saw was I talked to 2 different people that were selling content as a service. So freelancers, people that provided content, and they were both very different age groups. And it was really interesting because they told me before they attended my talk, they were afraid. They were very fearful of how AI was going to shift work, change their opportunities, maybe take work away from them. And then after my talk, after learning about EAT, after learning about the AIO approach that we teach, the craft framework, they saw the opportunity in the room. And they had follow-up questions. So it was really cool to be able to talk to them, answer those questions. And some of the questions were very existential, like one was, are we all just gonna end up creating terrible content and get stuck in a revolving window? Like, well, that's why we built AIO, right? So that doesn't happen. And if you're implementing craft, if you're optimizing AI content, adding the personal touch, that's not going to happen. So really, like, it's up to us in the end. So that was a really cool takeaway after the keynote, was to actually see, talking to people, their minds had shifted completely.
It's all path forward. It's all murky. What's Google doing? What's AI going to do? But you showed a path forward for them to, okay, I can still deal with Google while also using AI to scale my business. So.
Yes, and then Rick Calvert, the founder, comes up on stage. What does he say?
Yeah, he said, imagine you don't use AI, but others do. What's going to happen to you? And then
you're gonna get hit by a train.
You're gonna be hit by a freight train.
A freight train.
We all know what that looks like.
And then he paused and he said, "Picture that."
Very
yeah. I like the part that we've identified that people that have niche websites in specific industries are going to use our tool to make money, and I think that's really profitable. You said that as you were walking out, is sites that make money by using content to scale, and I think that's a powerful statement because it's not just about SEO, it's about actually generating ROI, because good SEO will generate traffic, and good traffic on a good website with good content will generate that revenue, which is what everybody's after. So I think the niche industries that are looking for a really good source for content, this is the answer.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for picking that up. I thought I was just rambling.
Yeah.
Amazing. So overall, the consensus is we definitely like travel and other industry-related events instead of marketing events. No hate on marketing.
Right? This isn't their job.
Yes, these people were all about it. Yeah. This was their side hustle. This was their passion. So it was really cool to help people like that. Well, I think we will wrap this vlog here. We're headed home. Great event with great people.